That's a good spot. Ugh. Hey everybody, Lee with LG Speed and Custom here, and in this video we are back working on brown sugar. So a few videos back we did a video on this truck where I explained how I crashed it. I rear-ended somebody and really smashed up the front end pretty good on it. Started pulling the rad support out in the last video. I've continued working on that and have got it to the point where I think the rad support is where it needs to be. I got the fender on, I got the valence on. This fits nice. We got good gaps back here. I still want to, this hood doesn't fit, and obviously it's got a kerchoink in it. So I want to fit the other hood. I've got a hood in the back that in the last video we drove up to Port Alberni and got that hood. But I can't do that by myself because this hood is, it's giant. This is a big hood and I am by myself right now. So that's not going to happen. In the meantime, we can still fit the grill, but that grill, it needs a little bit of work just before we can do that. I've moved into the shop because it's getting a little chilly outside. Here is our grill that we picked up in the last video on brown sugar. It's a, I believe it's a 7172 grill, although I haven't actually tried the inserts in it. It could be a 70 grill, which has different inserts. And here is the crunched grill that we are not going to be using anymore. Before we mock this one up, I want to, if I flip it over here, you can see on the back side, some bolts have been broken and snapped off. These are all super crusty. So I'm gonna replace these with some fresh ones. And we also have to change this top valence panel is crunched, and I've got a good one that I actually already had. We didn't have to buy that piece. So we'll transfer that stuff onto this grill and then test fit it in the truck and see if it fits. And if it fits, then we'll maybe look at cleaning this up. This is aluminum, but it has been, oh man, the word is just escaping my brain right now. Not anodized. Yeah, anodized. It was anodized from the factory and it's gotten super cloudy. So we're gonna, if this grill fits and I'm happy with it, then we'll look into removing this anodizing and try to polish this grill up a little bit. So the easiest way to address this is to go to your local auto body supply store and get yourself some Papco 240-617, and that is these clips. You can buy them brand new. You can also get brand new bolts. Actually, that's a used one. Brand new bolts to go with them. That's how I deal with all of this stuff, because these clips suck. They only last a couple years and then they get rusty and crusty and they don't work. Just pry them off, throw them in the garbage, slide a new one on, and move on with your life. It's that easy. All right, that went well. We're ready to test fit this. I hope it fits okay. What do we got? Oh, we got an intercooler line in the way. That's no big deal. Actually, that might be a big deal. I think I gotta take my intercooler hose off. So while I'm doing that, this guy right here, while I'm doing that, I just want to pause, take a moment, and say thank you to everybody from the last brown sugar video that went to lgspeedcustom.com and got yourself a brown sugar t-shirt. Really appreciate the support. All that money went into buying parts for this truck. Got a bunch of parts down in the States right now at a couple friends' places, so we're gonna go down and pick those up in February when we go down for the Puyallup swap meet. I've got another hood. I've got the hood that's in the back, but I've bought an even better one from my friend Chris Swenson. So we're gonna put that on. I've got a back bumper for the truck sitting at my friend Bruce's place. The hood's at Kat's place, so a bunch of parts to pick up. But yeah, that was all paid for thanks to you guys all buying your shirts. Most of my viewers are American. With the Canadian US exchange rate right now, these shirts are only $19 US. So go hit up lgspeedcustom.com if you want one. While you're doing that, I'm going to take this intercooler hose off real quick, and then we'll test fit this. Grill fits really nice. I'm quite happy with it, but we really got to do this hood next because I can't even like test fit the hood because the hood runs into the latch right here. But we're making progress. All the bolt holes lined up. I'm happy. Shannon has joined us, so she's going to give me a hand to put the hood on. The first thing we're going to do is flip it upside down and make sure that the clips are okay. They are missing, so no clips. We'll put some clips in it and then swap them out. The hood is on. We had to change the latch. The original hood was seized, but it fits. It's not gapped 100% right now, but we got it like 90% there. This still needs to come back a little bit. And if you look at these, it's got to come over this way just ever so slightly. But I'm not gonna be using this hood. Like I just mentioned, I got another one from my friend Chris at Bumpin' Uglies. It's just in nicer shape. This one is like pretty good, but I don't know if you can see on camera if it will pick it up. One, it's got a bunch of dents in it, and two, it was left outside in bare metal for a long time, and it's pretty pitted. It's definitely fixable, but the hood that I got from Chris is just so much better. So we're just gonna start with a good hood. Where was I going with this? Yeah, okay, the hood's on. So we're making good progress on this. I think we're gonna call it for a day right now. It's starting to get close to dinner time. I'm hungry. So we'll put the truck away and continue on in a bit. All right, another Saturday. We're back on the truck. So the next step to this grill and front valence project is we gotta notch it. We gotta start cutting some stuff out because we have an intercooler plumbing that has to fit in there. So if we look back on the other grill, you can see this whole area was trimmed away, as well as the grill inserts were trimmed away, and that's because the intercooler and the plumbing sits right in there. Same with the front valence. It has to get notched out underneath here. So that'll be our next step, I think. We might pull this back apart, bolt the intercooler on there, and hook it back up just temporarily, just so we know where it sits, and then we can start trimming this stuff away. This will all get zinged out of there. I've taken the new valence and the grill off, bolted the intercooler back in place, and put the intercooler plumbing back in place. I've got the original valence on, and the reason I've done that is I want to use this as a template so that I know where to cut the new one. But when I cut this one the first time years ago when I put all this together, I really botched it. I cut it way too wide. This should have been radiused. I don't know, it looked really ugly and I was never happy with it. So we're not going to make that mistake on the new one. I'm going to take some cardboard and fill this in a little bit so that I know exactly where it needs to be, and then we can use this as a template to cut the new one. Just got some cardboard here. I'm going to take a Sharpie and just kind of get a rough shape traced out, and then just use scissors. And each time we get in there, we can fine tune it a little bit more. Actually, that's not bad right there. I think we should have a radius on here though. Something like that. There we go. That's a little better. Got about a 1/4 inch gap for some wiggle room. I'll just slide this in place and tape it on there. And do the same on the other side. We'll pull this off and then transfer this cutout opening to the new one. The original panel and the new panel are both laying beside each other on the bench here. So I'm going to make a template using clear plastic and magnets. I like using clear plastic because you can actually see through it and see what you're doing. We'll use some magnets to hold the plastic on. And now that we've got it pretty much where we want it to be, we'll just take a Sharpie and trace our shape. Pretty simple. Then we're also going to trace some of the shape of this, and that way we have reference points of where this actually goes. So we'll trace the little frame horn cutouts here. We'll put a dotted line along this edge here. Then we know to line this dotted line up with the edge on the other one. Same with, we got a little valley here. Put a couple lines in the valley so that we know where that is. And back here, we've got those points. And now we just take our magnets off and transfer this to that one. Line up our frame horns and our valley marks. Cool, everything's lined up. So now we know where to cut. And you can either use your scissors and cut this piece out, and then trace it, or I usually just sneak underneath it with the Sharpie and transfer my marks. The front valence fits, I'm happy with it. Looks good, looks a lot better than the one that was on there before. Gonna mock the grill up now and start kind of whittling away at it. I can't really use the other grill as a template because it just got too mangled. So we'll just do this one the same as I did the other one. We'll mock it up, grab a Sharpie. I think we got to start with taking these grill tabs off. They're the first thing that hits. And we got a bracket down here that's got to come off. Just kind of a trial and error thing. Trim, fit, mark, trim, fit, mark, until eventually it sits where it needs to sit. Got the grill all trimmed. It took probably an inch off of here and then just kind of rolled it to follow the intercooler tube there. Grill fits great, happy with it. The inserts. This is the original passenger side insert and it fits good, no issues. It's already been trimmed to follow the intercooler tube here. I kind of just tapered it off back to stock where the actual intercooler is. This side definitely needs to be trimmed though. Let me grab the inserts here. So I've got two inserts and I'm gonna use this one. They're both cracked, unfortunately. Right in there and there, same spot. This one though is also, it's actually broken. It's beyond cracked, it's broken right there. So we'll discard that one and we'll use this one. It kind of sucks that there's a crack in there, but what can you do? I mean, this truck's over 50 years old, so. Yeah, as you can see, we need to trim quite a bit off of here. Pretty much the same amount that got trimmed off the actual grill, so. That's our next step. Once that's done, both inserts, well, the grill that should be it for the grill as far as like test fitting it and making it all work. Just took some measurements off the other side, and that's where that's how much we gotta trim, so like an inch. I think I'll probably just use the zip disc. This side I just kind of tapered back. Probably just use the zip disc and then finish it up with this guy here. right, I think we got this trimmed down enough that it'll fit. I've test fitted a few times, and it was always really close, and each time was getting a little bit closer. Let's screw it in and see what's up. That little plastic clip just broke. I had that on this side. On one of them, they're really, really brittle. I don't know where this grill spent its life, but must have been sitting in the sun. Huh, interesting. Oh, I see. So this is poking out considerably farther than that, but I can see that this little bracket, there we go, that's better. It just had a little bend in it. Cool, so they do vibrate a little bit down at the bottom. The old ones did that too. Just kind of got to live with that because there's an intercooler where there needs to be a bracket. I think our grill modifications are done. We've got good clearance all the way through. We got extra clearance right here because this intercooler tube actually has a little dent in it, but it's fine. I'm not going to worry about it. It won't affect anything. In fact, Shannon and I were talking the other day. I think I'm going to powder coat those semi-gloss black, just because when you'd stand back, they were very noticeable and not in like a cool way. Well, I think all the damage from the accident, that's good now. I mean, if I wanted to, I could throw some headlights back in here, put the front bumper on, close the hood, and we're back on the road again, which is awesome. Except, I want to take this truck to the next level. It really deserves it. So from this point forward, it's bodywork time. We're going to start prepping this thing to do final bodywork. So I hung the front bumper on it, went and got lunch, came back from lunch, and I've been sitting here for like probably 45 minutes, struggling, debating in my head, because part of me just wants to throw headlights back in it and put some air back in that tire and let's hit the road, get back on the road with this thing again. But the other part of me really wants to take it apart and paint it. And it's really hard to take it back apart because I just put it all back together. But I have to paint it. This truck deserves paint. It needs it. And so behind my back, I had no idea until recently, Shannon and my good friend Rick. So like 6 years ago, or when I bought this truck, many years ago, it came with a rust-free parts truck. And that's where all the rad support, inner fenders, all that came off the parts truck. This valance came off the parts truck. This rust-free fender came off the parts truck. So I got all the parts that this thing needs. Actually, the box that's on this truck came off that parts truck as well. All the parts other than the box, I sandblasted them all. All the metalwork's done on them. Put them in epoxy primer, and then I just got sidetracked with other projects, and they sat for years and years and years. Shannon has taken everything other than this fender because it was in the attic and she didn't know where it was. I couldn't get to it or whatever. Anyways, all the other parts, the doors, the other fender, this valance, her and my good friend Rick Trenton, he does high-end paint and body, collector car paint and body. They've got everything in final primer ready to be painted brown, except for this fender. And of course, the rest of the truck. So, I mean, her and Rick have both put a lot of effort into this thing, so we have to go, it's time to go all the way with this. That's the only thing left on this truck. The drivetrain's done, the chassis is done, the interior is done. That's all that's left is the paint, and then I'll actually have like a fully finished, painted, nice vehicle for the first time in a long time. So let's do it. Let's take it apart. This is why I bought the other truck, Black Betty, is so that I still have a truck to drive and do truck things while this is apart. Because this might take a year, I don't know. Anyways, back apart it comes. Well, I just unloaded the back of the truck, turned it around and backed it in because I was going to start unbolting the box to get it off. We got to take the tail light harness out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 bolts on the box. We're going to have to undo the mud flap brackets because they're not going to clear the frame when we lift this off. And there's an auxiliary fuel tank over there that used to be hooked up when I still had the gas engine in this. When I converted to the diesel, I never hooked that tank up. So the fuel line is still hooked up to that tank though. So we got to undo that and pull the, well, we don't have to take the tank out to get it out, but we got to undo the fuel line. Anyways, I just got a text that a bunch of friends are meeting for dinner and potentially like half an hour to an hour. It hasn't been decided yet. Either way, I'm not going to have time today to pull this box off. So we're going to end this video here, which is fine because this is kind of like a new project, I guess, unrelated to the grill. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching. I'm super stoked on this project. I think that pulling this thing apart for paint is the right choice. It's the right decision. This truck deserves it. It's earned it. While this is airing, which will be next weekend, we'll actually be at the Grand National Roadster Show, so I won't be able to work on it. If any of you guys are at the Grand National Roadster Show, remember to say hi if you see us. So yeah, I don't know when the next time we'll work on this truck is. It might be the next video, might be a couple videos. I'm doing a video on the 32 because I'm still working on the windows on that too. I'm kind of jumping back and forth between those. And I got a new vehicle. Come check this out. Check out this majestic beast that my friend Brian and I picked up the other day. Isn't that glorious? F-250 short wheelbase 4x4 crew cab. Great. Believe it or not, that truck actually runs and drives. So we're gonna do some work on that. We're gonna be cleaning that thing up and getting it kind of more roadworthy. So there will be some videos on that. And yeah, I don't have a plan. I'm just winging it. So you guys will see videos on that whenever they show up. You'll see videos on this whenever it shows up. Don't forget to check out the website, lgspeedcustom.com. For you American viewers right now, with our current dollar exchange, you can get yourself a brown sugar shirt to help support this build. They're only $19 US right now. For Canadians, it's 28 bucks for a shirt. Ship worldwide. I send shirts to Australia. I send shirts to England. Hello to Tim in England, who comments on every single video. Really appreciate that. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next video. I'm going to tinker on this until it's absolutely the last minute that I have to leave to go for dinner. Thanks for watching.